let's see. If I take a look at this, if I take a look at gold, right? For example, gold is a bearish reading on the EDGEFINDER right now. And we could isolate this. I want to show you guys, actually, we worked really hard on this yesterday. I've been in the thick of it on the EDGEFINDER dev stuff. I want to talk about where we're at ahead of the labor statistics on Friday, and in reference specifically to gold. So as we come in today, we have jobless claims. This is data that should be coming in soon. In terms of NFP, the previous go around, we saw a tick up in job creation. That was bullish for the dollar. And in this case, of course, you can see it's bearish for gold. And then when we take a look at unemployment also ticked up, which can be confusing at first, but it involves the participation rate of the population. That's why these two both can move up at the same time. Anyways, the unemployment is kind of bullish. So we have a little bit of mixed sentiment in the labor market in its recent push on gold, but we will get some clarity on that when we come into NFP tomorrow. So keep an eye on that to see if this gold market is going to finally make a move one way or the other. But it's been really, really tough for gold bulls here recently. And again, I want to talk about the bull case. Is there anything that could? Well, again, what we'd want to see, guys, for bullishness on NFP is we would want to see a decline in the number of jobs created. Because if that happens, the dollar will likely weaken, which could give us a nice push to the upside on gold if you're a bull. Same thing with kind of the indices. They're acting similarly right now. And if you talk about unemployment statistics as well, you probably want unemployment to raise higher if you are a gold bull. So those things will impact the moves in the markets tomorrow big time. So just a little bit of a heads up there. In terms of technical analysis, take a quick look at gold with me. We are still sitting at this supportive level at the 1815 mark. This level seems pretty stubborn, but there's still a lot of red in this chart, and momentum favors the sellers. I'll tell you what, I am not buying it myself. I think that right now, gold has a lot to prove. It has a lot of headwinds. And while I think, maybe if you're a longer term investor or trader, maybe you're getting some value opportunity here on a longer term basis, that's not what we're really here talking about today. We're talking about trading, and trading wise, I think gold short term remains bearish, but it is probably due for a pullback. So if we do get that bounce, in my opinion, the sells look more attractive than the buys. That's just my take on it.
Did you know our market scanning software, the EDGEFINDER, just got even better? Check out our newest asset, Bitcoin. That's right, Bitcoin was our most requested feature update, and we're so excited to announce Bitcoin is finally here with plans to add even more crypto in the future. We've also updated our most popular feature, the Smart Money Tracker, adding even more data than before. The EDGEFINDER not only automatically scores 8 different metrics for each asset to give it an overall buy, sell, or neutral score, but it also keeps track of bank and analyst positioning, stores historical fundamental data, shows how assets are trending throughout the day, and so much more. Right now, our YouTube viewers can get the EDGEFINDER at a discounted price when they use promo code A1YT. You can check out the EDGEFINDER with the link down in the description below, and again, get it for the special discounted price when you use promo code A1YT at checkout.
The dollar pairs are being a bit range bound right now, but the Japanese pairs do have a bit more potential, I would say, but I would need a breakout. So a quick summary would be Euro and the US dollar. I'm waiting for a breakout of here. I'm not seeing any sort of momentum currently. It's just kind of being a bit flat, but yeah, potentially we will get a trend. So this one is not on my watch list. Euro Japanese yen, like most of the Japanese pairs, had this huge news candle with a huge wick on the bottom and a huge body as well. I think it was around 270 pips. So after it, I wanted to see the price immediately continue, which we unfortunately did not get. Instead, we are just ranging around. So for this pair, I expect a larger, wider range as well. What I would like to see for the market to pick a direction, I would like to see it show me some nice momentum. So usually I like the news candles, but what I want to see after a news candle, I want to see price continue and trend straight away. Aussie US dollar showing a bit of a V reversal right here. Usually when we get this sort of a V formation, we get a range and then we continue trending to the downside, let's say. So I'm waiting for a nice push down. This is what I'm waiting for. Then we have the Aussie and the Japanese yen, same as the Euro Japanese yen, again news candle, but no trend after it, just a wide flat range. The pound is looking the same as the euro and the US dollar, so I'm being more patient. And New Zealand Japanese yen is also the same as all of the other Japanese pairs. So to be honest, for me, potentially the Japanese pairs may give us a move because this was a very, very large news candle. But I'm looking at the Aussie and the US dollar, seeing if this sort of a pattern will play out. If it will, I would look to sell. So that's about it. Nothing much currently for me in the markets. I had an active Monday, to be honest. I took some nice trades on Monday, but now things seem to be slowing down a little bit. And to be honest, I'm waiting for the next week. I'm not really seeing much potential in the next few hours. It's soon gonna be Friday as well, market close. So let's see the next week.
Okay. Yeah, Marco, and we'll maybe come back to that concept you just mentioned about taking some trades earlier in the week. Maybe we can ask for a little bit of some more details on that. I want to give Miko a chance just to, in terms of setups and as this market is moving, what are you looking at, Miko, right now with everything going on?
Yeah, so my main focus is still with dollar pairs. Still pretty bullish on DXY, still pretty bullish on dollar. So pairs like Aussie dollar, USD CAD, gold, silver, my main interest at the moment. I did miss some sells earlier today on Aussie dollar. It just happened just outside of my trading hours. I normally start trading around 8 a.m. UK time, and I got the signal, this bearish engulfing on the retest of this level here, which was at 7 a.m. So it missed the entry for that one, but despite that, I'm still looking at some more shorts to the downside to these lows. I'm still looking at Aussie dollar coming back to this low here. So for the foreseeable future, I'm basically just looking to short the market when I get my next opportunity. So potentially, if we were to come back and retest it, I'll consider looking for some entries if I see what I'm after. But yeah, I am similar to Marco, looking at some more downside for Aussie dollar CAD. I'm looking at buys as well. This one's been pretty bullish. I'm looking to see if we can get a retest of this lovely daily level here. As you can see, we just got the breakout of that recently. I'm looking for price to come back into this area next. So if I can see some retracement before that, that'll be brilliant. And looking to take USD CAD to the upside, like we've got a pretty big inverse head and shoulder here, and we just snap through that neckline. So if we can come back, pull back, retest some structure, I'll be more than happy to take some buys back into that high there. So still buying inside here of dollar strength. Likewise with silver and gold. Silver just snapped through a very big level here. So I'm looking at price coming to the next kilo, which will be this area here. So likewise, I want to see some pullbacks for silver and some continuations. At the moment, silver and gold has been very bearish. We haven't really seen much of a pullback. So I'm kind of just waiting to see what they do next. They could just break to the downside. I mean, they're still pretty bearish. They're moving sideways now, but I wouldn't be surprised if you just see the push sideways, another push back down. But I would like to see silver come up first and give me some opportunity to short it. Same thing with gold. I think gold might be testing the support level almost there, maybe a few pips away. So likewise with gold, I want to see retracement to this particular area because yeah, gold's just been so bearish. I want to keep looking to short it to the downside, but we're coming to some support now, so I want to back away, wait for some retracement, and hopefully some sells later on. But yeah, essentially that's what I'm looking at, still keeping up the dollar strength.
Yeah, I like that. And I think, you know, you mentioned silver, not often talked about, but I do like that chart a lot as well on silver, that big break to the downside, that possible pullback. And, you know, when it comes to gold and silver, it's been kind of a frustrating time for a lot of traders who, you know, you see gold make this massive move to the downside, and I don't have it on the short side. I wish I did. It would be really would have been a remarkable week for me, but I didn't have that either. I've got the same markups, and this is the reality of trading, guys. You know, it's not always that you're in these great moves, and sometimes you have to watch from the sidelines, and honestly, it's not always fun. So the idea being, you know, if we get that pullback, that's something to consider in you know, both Miko and my own idea. I like that as well. The other side would be, I mentioned this just before you guys came on, if we get jobs numbers that are really strong, it's possible that we could break out, yeah, get through the lows. So Yeah, I think also one thing to say too about the Japanese currency pairs, the Bank of Japan stuff that happened. To your point, Marco, that candle across the
Mm-hmm.
board, the yen stuff that we saw,
Yep.
the yen stuff was just absolutely wild. And you mentioned it being a news candle. It is absolutely a news candle, but one distinction I would make from perhaps like an NFP or a CPI number is that this was an impromptu kind of announcement or thing. It wasn't necessarily like, okay, we have numbers coming out at 8:30, and then that's when we're going to get the reaction. This was like a rumor that got kind of like came out, some conversation that was brought to the market, and suddenly the market reacted. So sometimes you get those really messy news candles during those sorts of events, and that's kind of what we got. We got this huge move, and it wicked all the way back up, and then it came back down. And so the yen crosses are kind of wild. I've made the point, and I want to get both you guys' thoughts on this, on like the yen crosses. This 150 mark seems to be a point that the Bank of Japan is not comfortable with. They don't like the exchange rate. It makes their yen very weak to purchase things and do business in dollars. It's really uncomfortable to them. If this level, however, breaks, even despite their willingness or wantingness to buy their own bonds to support their currency, if it breaks out, the uptrend, as much as it seems like it may have already made a move, could continue to be explosive to the upside as people maybe lose faith that they're able to intervene and actually disrupt the currency exchange. But it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But I want to ask Marco, any other yen crosses that you want to share with us, and then I'll go back to Miko, because I know there's just several to talk about. So Marco, I'll let you go first.
So for me, regarding the yen crosses, again, I trade only 3, and those are EJ, AJ, and the New Zealand Japanese yen. So, and I'm focusing only on the last 3 to 5 days of price action on the 1-hour chart. So I'm not looking at any support or resistance, any major support or resistance. But from what I can see, again, I was actually in a nice short trade, for example, on the Euro Japanese yen, and it looked very promising that maybe the downtrend will even continue at this point. But then we saw the news candle happen. So I saw this ascending channel, after which we usually expect a nice downtrend. And it was a downtrend, but it was not as big as they come. So I kind of wanted to see it continue. Unfortunately, as you said, the news came out of nowhere. No one really expected it. So now my whole analysis of the market is kind of negated. So I kind of, at this point, ignore anything that happened here because this is such a big news candle. So for me to even start looking at anything, first I need to see the break of this major high level. This is the first red line, or the bottom, so the major low level. And once we break, I will see, will it give us a break and a straight retrace and continue ranging around, or will it actually pick a trend? So I believe because this was such a sudden news, it was not, like you said, NFP or something like that. It will take some time for the market to actually think about it, for the bigger players to make some decisions, for the market to digest the news. So maybe we will have sort of a delayed reaction. If that does happen, if we get sort of a delayed downtrend or a delayed uptrend, I will of course be very interested to sell. But I need confirmation. That's why I'm saying on the especially Japanese pairs, I think this is not gonna give me any sort of an entry this week. Potentially I would need to wait for the next week for a few more candles to develop and for that trend to actually start. So for now I'm leaving the Japanese pairs alone, all of them.
Fair enough. And what about you, Miko? What do you think with all that BOJ stuff, the Bank of Japan? Any yen crosses look attractive to you?
No, I'm similar situation to Mark. I'm kind of letting the yen pairs do their thing, because after that big kind of wick that we had, it's kind of difficult to gauge the market, because essentially I want to see momentum. So similar to Mark as well, I want to see strong momentum, price, give me a good bullish trend, bearish trend, vice versa. But when we get big wicks like what we've seen with the yen pairs, it's kind of like the market's 50-50. We've had a lot of momentum to the downside, but the market isn't really sustaining that momentum. It's had a hard time doing that. If we went and filled the wick straight after, then that would be a good sign, and then we'll probably expect to see more downside off the back of that. But quite a lot of them, euro yen, Swiss yen, pound yen, dollar yen, we've had a hard time trying to fill the wick. So from my perspective, I'm kind of staying away with the yen pairs and waiting for a bit more information, and then I can make some judgments. But my main focus has been dollar pairs. I mean, yen pairs look good at the start of the week. I was actually looking to short a couple of them, but I didn't get the entry, and we had the intervention, and now I'm kind of just backing away. So I'm waiting for them to either reverse or keep going, and then I'll look to follow the trend on some pullbacks.
Okay,
what about you, Nick?
Go ahead, Marco.
What about you? So do you have any trade ideas for the news candle? Do you see any potential setups forming after the news candle?
Yeah, I think personally, the yen situation in terms of a kind of a central bank idea, it seems to me very similar to the absolute chaos that we had, and I've made this point a couple times on stream, the chaos that happened with the Swiss National Bank back in early 2015. If you ever want to just see the scariest chart ever, just go back to 2015 and take a look at what happened with the Swiss National Bank. As I zoom in here, you can see this is one of the worst, most devastating candles, I think probably in the forex market's history. What happened here is a central bank intervening can mean one of two things. They can be, finding ways to support or weaken their own currency for the various pros and cons to each one. Well, the Swiss National Bank, what they said is, hey, we don't want the currency exchange rate between the euro and the franc, the Swiss franc, to go down anymore. So we're going to hold at 1.2. They're going to support the currency. They were vocal about 1.2. So it seems like an obvious trade. You have the backing of a central bank who's going to keep it from going underneath 1.2. So geniusness would be, okay, let me just buy at 1.2. I'll put a stop loss underneath that by a little ways, and I should have a guaranteed trade, right? Well, that's what everybody did. Everybody bought into that idea. And one day, the Swiss National Bank came out and said, actually, never mind. And the market sold off, and this is like a 20% move in a currency exchange in a single day. It was about 19% on the exchange rate between the euro and the Swiss franc. And this, one of my podcast co-hosts was talking to me about. We were talking about just how this actually shut down. Oh, something happened. Can you guys still hear me?
Yep, weird. I can. I think you're cutting out a little bit.
Okay, weird. I think it might be me. I'm sorry about that. I'm not sure what's happening. Maybe some slowdown on our end. I think you can hear me now. Anyways, the point is the Swiss National Bank, they took it back. So when we get to the Bank of Japan situation now, I think it's really important to be cautious with, a central bank saying one thing, and if faith is lost in that idea that intervention can cause effect, there's a possibility that continues to trend higher. So my idea would be actually bullish if price continues to break through that 150 mark on the dollar yen exchange. So that's my opinion. But good question, Marco. Last thing I wanted to just come back to you on that thing we mentioned we would earlier. You had some good trades this week. You want to just walk us through maybe one of them, and we can close it out from there? Okay, cool.
Sure. So 3 of them. First one was on the euro and the US dollar. They were all at the same time, basically. So the setups form at the same time on 3 different pairs. It was a simple trend continuation, simple break and retest setup. And basically plays the short order, 12 pip stop loss or 13 pips depending on the spreads, and then just follow the trade with the trade management rule that I use. And I was out this one for 1.7% on EJ. Same thing, same time, same sort of a setup continuation. This one was even better, to be honest, and this one was around 2.6%. And then the final one was on the pound. This one looked very good as well. I found this sort of a pattern on the pound tends to work out most of the time. So usually when you get an impulse like this one, and then you get a 1 candle pullback like this small blue candle, and then the next candle breaks the low, prints a clean close, meaning no wick, usually any sort of a break and retest that happens will actually continue trending, and that is exactly what happened, and I managed to get some percentage out of this one as well. So yeah, 3 very nice trades.
Don't forget to check out the links in the description if you want our broker recommendation, access to our free Discord, free EDGEFINDER, or want to chat with us on Telegram. Remember, you can watch us live in the markets every morning starting at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and we have lots more free trading tools and content available on our website, a1trading.com. Thanks for watching.